Hey, kids, it's me. Wednesday, November 15th. Told you you'd see me today. I don't get to see you, but you get to see me. It's almost the same thing. Anyway, I'm sorry I'm not here to be with you. As I explained to you yesterday, I'll be gone today, but I'll most definitely be back tomorrow. Just had to deal with the whole doctor's appointment thing. I'm going to try and make this as short and quick as possible to make things easy to give you guys as much time to work as we can. You'll have today to work on your book report, so that'd be my first recommendation if you can. Excuse me, unless your idioms project is not quite finished. If idioms is not done, I do recommend working on that because it's going to be due tomorrow. And then you could also work on the homework that is going to be due for Friday, the poetry homework number 2. Most of you should have already had that done, being as that it was technically due on Tuesday, yesterday, so it should already be completed. But if you're trying to make sure that you're not going to get in trouble, go ahead and get it done now. You can go on my website and you can find it there. Otherwise, you're welcome to read either your book report book, or we do have poems for the quiz coming up on Friday. We do have our final poetry test coming up a week from yesterday. So our final poetry test is coming up then. You're going to have to read poems on your own for this test. A big part of it is going to be questions over poems we don't read together. You are going to have to take a look at these poems, and then from there I'll see what I can do to try and help you. Poetry homework is due Friday, and then you're going to have to read the poems for this Friday's quiz. Book report today. I think that covers them. Oh, if you have cans to turn in, you can go ahead and give them to the sub, and the sub will write down how many you have and your name, and then we can keep track of it that way. And then if you're turning them in to me, we'll hook you up with the B points. Otherwise, at least we get house points, and if worst case, I can ask you about that tomorrow if you turn them into your 5th period today, and that's still fine with me. And then tomorrow, we have our idioms due. And we're going to get to a poem called Richard Cory, and then we're going to have the poetry quiz coming up on Friday. Friday's poetry quiz, to get you ready for the test next week, is going to have a couple poems you're going to have to read on your own. So on my website, you will find a thing now that I have up on the poetry handouts page. You're going to see a thing that says poems for the final quiz and test. It is right above the poetry handouts, so it's going to be hard to miss. It's pretty much the first thing you're going to see when you go there. When you click on that, it is going to bring up a picture that I'll show you on the next page also. It gives you an idea of what poems you're going to have to take a look at. So make sure you take a look at that. For the actual poems, you're going to find those on these 2 handouts. And so you can take a look on those 2 handouts, and that's where all the poems will be. There's a few extra poems on the handouts that we didn't end up getting to, and I didn't put on the test, so those you can ignore. But otherwise, you should find all the poems on those 2 handouts. So take a look at those, read through them, and that should help you out. This is what it's going to look like when you download that, so you have an idea. Over here are going to be the poems that we've already read. You don't have to worry about them. This is for the regular class. Advanced, you have a different one. Richard Cory and Particle Mans are the one we're going to take a look at tomorrow. So those are the ones you don't have to worry about. Those ones we're going to cover together. The poems down here are the ones you're going to need to read for the actual test on your own. So this is for the quiz coming up, and they'll also be on next week's test. So make sure you take a look at these by Friday. So these 3 most definitely will be on there. The ones over here will be on next week's test. Some of them are really short. This one's only 4 lines. This one's a little bit longer, but pretty easy. And then you're going to have a couple that are longer but tougher. Custer the Dragon is a long poem, but it's really easy and fun. The Listeners is a little bit longer. It's going to require some thinking, but it's going to be one of the tougher ones. Casey the Bat's long but easy, and then Spider is going to be fairly long, only 5, I think, stanzas in length, but it's going to require you to figure out similes and metaphors and do some thinking and stuff like that. Plus, if you have trouble understanding Spider, because it's one of the tougher ones we have on here, if you go back to my website and then you go down to the very bottom of the poetry one, I have a video of me explaining the Spider to you, so hopefully that helps you out. For my advanced kids, you have some that are similar, some that are different. The setup is the same. These are the poems we've already covered. The Richard Cory and Particle Mans are the one we're going to do tomorrow, so those you don't have to worry about. The ones down here are the ones you're going to have to make sure you read for the quiz on Friday, so make sure you've taken a look at those 4. And then once again, you have the poems here. Some of those are the same, some of those are different. You have Binky Barn, Porcupine is the short one, Casey the Bat. Livington is going to be a new one. My regular kids read, I'm going to have you read that one on your own. Custer the Dragon, same thing as my regular ones. It's long but fairly easy. Listeners is going to require you to think. Casey the Bat is going to be a longer one, but once again, it's pretty easy. Porcupine, really short. 5 Batty Bats, a little longer, but deals with irony. So it's just how well can you figure that one out. That one's fairly easy. Shouldn't take you very long to read. Binky Barnes, fairly easy. Shouldn't take you long to read. Living Tenderly. So overall, your tougher ones are going to come from some of the ones over here, Giant Thunder, Jabberwocky, stuff like that. Those are the ones you're going to have to know for the quiz, also again for the test. So, what you're going to be working on today. So to help you out, you can either just read your book report book. If you have your book report book, go ahead, get that out. You're welcome to read. Just make sure that you're making good choices during class, and we should be fine. If you want to buy a poster, you may. Let the sub know, and I have a stack of them on my desk. You can get one. It's going to cost you 5 B points. If you want to spend a quarter, make sure you bring the quarter tomorrow, and then you can use that instead of the 5 B points. If you don't have the quarter tomorrow, then I charge you the 5 B points. Completely up to you. You don't have to get the poster today. You're welcome to get it later. I will have them up until the day the project comes due, so there's no hurry on it. I just figured I'd offer them up if you want. If you have trouble folding it, either read the directions or wait till I get back and I can try to help you out. But the directions are there to help you. You can also work on the Don't Be an Idiom homework. Follow the directions. I know I keep saying this to you, but on the idiom homework, there are directions for you to follow, specifically in that top left corner. So make sure you follow those. You should fill in the whole box with a picture. No people in stick figures unless you put clothing on them. Make sure you have color. All the writing should be in complete sentences and pen, stuff like that. And don't just color and scribble the whole thing in. I mean, you can, but it's not going to get you as many points. So if you're trying to get the good score on it, that's the way to go about doing it. And then you can also work on poetry homework number 2, which is due Friday. It should already be completed, but as we know, some of you guys are a little bit lazy. Or at the very least, you're more than welcome to read the poems for the quiz coming up, and you're more than welcome to do that too. I'm happy either way, completely up to you. Other than that, make good choices today. Sorry, I'm not going to be here. I will be back again tomorrow, and then Friday, and then we should be good the rest of the week. If you have questions, you're welcome to send me an email or a remind. I should be able to get back to you, and I'll do what I can. And then other than that, use your time wisely. If the sub has to be mean to you, then I have to be mean to you, but I'm not too worried. You guys are a great group of kids, so make me proud. I appreciate it, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.